Hi, everyone. Let me tell you a little story. One time I had an acquaintance that was running for office. So she called me, and after a brief chat, she asked me to contribute $500 to her campaign. Now, me being a fundraiser, knew this was going to be a fundraising call. So in my head, I'd been planning to give her maybe $50 to help her out. But you know what? After she had mentioned that $500, I was a little too embarrassed to give her just $50. So instead, I actually bumped it up a little bit. I doubled it actually. I donated $100. Now, I know because I study fundraising that this idea of naming a big number has a basis in a psychological concept called the anchoring effect, where we just automatically tend to rely on the first piece of information that's thrown out to us as we make decisions. So, in this case, that $500 number was thrown out there. And even though I knew this was going on, and people often do this, right? They start high with a negotiation, the idea that that's going to sort of set the tone for things. Even though I knew this, I still couldn't prevent my brain from anchoring around that number. And my thought process was around, well, saving face, and I didn't want to look too cheap and that kind of thing. So anchoring and the psychological effect it has on us, the behavioral effect it has on us, is an interesting example of the kinds of things we're going to be talking about in this course. And as we move forward to study fundraising, we're going to rely on a combination of empirical evidence and then practical wisdom from experienced practitioners. And you'll see the work that I assign falls into three categories. First, the video lectures and readings, and then the discussions, and then your written responses. So please start with the video lectures each week, where I'll orient you to the discussions that are going to be happening and the focus of the week. Start with the video lectures and work your way from there. They will be short, they'll give you a quick orientation, and then you'll be able to move forward from there. So at this point, take a couple of minutes to look over the syllabus and email me if you have any questions. Um, the last thing I want to talk about in this video is the final project. We will be discussing this in more depth. I'm going to, in fact, schedule one-on-one Zoom calls with each one of you, like to get to know you and like to answer any questions you have and overview the final project. Okay. And I'll also pull the whole group together about halfway through the course so that we can all exchange ideas. But in essence, your final project is going to be two parts. The first is a conversation with me in which you will model what it is to make an ask or a solicitation for support. And the second will be the presentation of a written case for support. And you might say, well, what are you asking for support for? Well, instead of a fictitious organization, you're going to pick an organization that you've worked in, a cause you support, maybe a place you volunteer, or even an idea you have for a startup. So something that comes from your interest areas. And again, first part is a presentation of a verbal ask, and the second is a written case for support. Something maybe you are working on getting funded yourself, or somewhere where you work, or something you just care about. More to come on this. All right, again, send me any emails if you have questions on the syllabus. And in this final video for the week, I'm going to introduce you to the themes for this week's readings.